Hello students, welcome to my virtual classroom. In this lecture today I'll be discussing about LCC-2 Basics of English 1. So in this paper you have essay writing on a cultural topic or event, passive to active vice versa, and direct to indirect narration and vice versa, synonyms and antonyms of commonly used words, and story writing. So these are the topics in this paper. So at first you have essay writing on a cultural topic or event. Let us talk about how to write a good essay. So at first you have to write the proper title of the essay according to the question, and then you have to outline the essay about the cultural event or anything else, and then the introduction to the topic, and in the opening of your essay you have to give a short sum up of the topic and the ideas that you are going to develop. Now the topic disclosure. In the core paragraphs of your essay, present the materials on cultural event or anything else that you found worthwhile presenting in your writing. Quote your sources as needed, backing up your ideas that make it for one conclusion that you are working towards. Now, the conclusion of the essay. At the end of your essay, speak about the role of the cultural event or any other cultural topic in the culture of your country or any other similarly large scale, or otherwise reinforcing the point that you have made in the main part of the essay. Make it sound personal by adding your own feelings on the subject. A nice way to close your essay with a quote. And now the point is that what you should not write in the essay. It is not only about organizing and structuring your ideas, but about the way you deliver them too. You should avoid grammar and stylistic mistakes to make a good impression. And here are the most common mistakes made by essay writers that you better not to repeat. Remember the old adage that brevity is the soul of wit. It means that you should think carefully of what it is you want to say and find the most effective way to express that in a few words. Things that are universally recognized do not need to be elaborately presented, just refer to them briefly as generally understood truths. Make a point of always sticking to the point. If you will excuse the pun, deviating from the subject will take away points from your essay. To make your narration readable and smooth, make good use of synonyms, especially when it comes down to the keywords in the text. They are repeated many times, and unless you diversify them, you will risk to become repetitive. Now you have another topic, passive to active, vice versa, or active to passive. In a grammar, the voice of a verb describes the relationship between the action or state that the verb expresses and the participants identified by its arguments, subject, object, etc. When the subject is the agent or doer of the action, the verb is the active voice. When the subject is the patient, target, or undergoer of the action, the verb is said to be in the passive voice. When the subject both performs and receives the action expressed by the verb and the verb is in the middle voice, the voice sometimes called diathesis. The following pair of examples illustrate the contrast between active and passive voice in English. And the examples are: number 1, the cat ate the mouse, and number 2, the mouse was eaten by the cat. So these are the two sentences. So in sentence 1, the verb form ate is in the active voice, but in sentence 2, the verb form was eaten is in the passive voice. Independent of voice, the cat is the agent or the doer of the action of eating in both sentences. Now let us make the points clear. So we have two sentences there. One is in active voice and another has been transformed into passive voice. And the first sentence is, the cat ate the mouse. So before transforming a sentence from active voice into passive voice, you have to know the sentence structure. So look at the structure. Here the first word is the cat, and then ate, the verb is there, and then the mouse. So the first word is the subject of the sentence. So that is the subject, and then verb, and then the mouse is the object. So look at the structure. The cat is the subject of the sentence, and then ate is the verb of the sentence, and then the last word is the object. So that is the structure of the sentence. Now if you want to transform the sentence from active voice into passive voice, at first you have to put the object, and here the object is the mouse, and then you have to put one auxiliary verb, and this auxiliary verb tells about the tense of the sentence. And that sentence, the cat ate the mouse, is in past indefinite tense. So the main verb is ate, and then you have to put was as an auxiliary verb there, because it is in past form, and here the object is third person singular number, that's why you have to put was. Okay, then you have to write down the past participle form of the main verb, and here the verb is ate, it is in past form, and the base form is eat, and the past participle form of eat is eat at eaten. So you have to write eaten. Then by, and who is the subject here? The cat. So by the cat. So the sentence becomes, the mouse was eaten by the cat. If you want to transform a sentence from active voice into passive voice, you should know about tense also, because without knowing about tense, you won't be able to transform a sentence from active voice into passive voice. So now the question is, what is the definition of tense? The time of an action is called tense, and you know that there are three types of tense. The first one is present tense, and the second one is past tense, and the third one is future tense. Now let us talk about the classifications of each tense. And each tense has been classified into 4 classes. Number 1, indefinite tense. Number 2, continuous tense. Number 3, perfect tense. And number 4, perfect continuous tense. So in present indefinite tense, the active structure of the sentence is subject, verb, object. If you transform the sentence from active into passive, the structure will be object plus am oblique is oblique are plus past participle of the main verb plus by plus subject. For example, I read the books And the passive voice is the books are read by me. In present continuous tense, the active structure is subject plus emiser plus main verb plus ing plus object or complement. And the passive structure in present continuous tense is object plus emiser plus being plus past participle of the main verb plus by subject. For example, we can say that he is reading a book. The sentence is an active voice, and if we transform the sentence from active voice into passive voice, the sentence will be a book is being read by him. Now let us talk about some examples. Present perfect tense. I have bought these books. And the passive voice is these books have been bought by us. Another example, they built the house last year. And the passive voice is the house was built by them last year. You were writing an essay. The sentence is in past continuous tense. If we transform the sentence from active voice into passive voice, the sentence will be an essay was being written by you. Now let us talk about some other examples. Active voice, someone picked it up. And the passive voice is it was picked up. And another example, people put him to death. Passive voice is he was put to death. Somebody stole my book. My book was stolen. We expect good news. Good news is expected. What we cannot cure, we must endure. If we transform the sentence from active voice into passive voice, the sentence will be what cannot be cured must be endured. Now let us talk about passive voice without by. Let us take one example. Honey tastes sweet. If we transform the sentence, the passive voice will be honey is sweet when it is tasted. Now quasi-passive verbs without a complement. And the example is the house is building and there is no complement. And if we transform the sentence from active voice into passive voice, the sentence will be the house is being built. It's not possible to talk about all the examples in this lecture. That's why I have shared the links in the description box so that you can get the proper study materials. Thank you.